It's only a dream, so you better enjoy the life. Join us on our adventure through the Maya. Rich and Margarita's funky adventure continues. Join us on our mission as we travel deep into Mexico to rescue our favorite old truck, Funky, and bring her back to the United States on a very limited budget. At the end of the last episode, Funky broke down just as we were leaving for Guatemala. Luckily, we were able to find a mechanic on a Sunday in Mexico. It was a miracle.
Maybe we can get on the road today and make it to the border. Or maybe not.
Well, it wasn't going to happen today. There's some kind of electrical problem, and we have to wait till Monday for an electrician. So we spent the day sightseeing and shopping in San Cristobal. And we took a moment to ponder our situation at our favorite vegetarian restaurant, with the appropriate music, of course. Since the truck can't be repaired till Monday, we had to make the difficult decision of changing our airline tickets and pushing it back 5 more days. And the next morning, the electrician came and we found out that the distributor was missing some teeth and it needed to be replaced. We thought it would be as easy as just going to AutoZone and buying the part. But the mechanics didn't seem to think it was going to be that easy. So we began our search.
Vamos a AutoZone. Si quiero que la ordenen la pieza. Un distribuidor.
No es operativo tú, yo creo que van a hacer.
Pero es que sí quiero que llegue hoy. Por favor.
When we called up AutoZone, they said maybe they could get us the part by tomorrow, but they'd have to see it first. But when we went down there, they said it would be a week or 2 weeks before they could get that part, and that just wasn't going to work. So we decided to try our luck with the local parts stores. Since the truck is so old, it's tough to find parts, especially in these remote Mexican villages. And since our temporary travel permit is only good for 4 more days, we don't have a lot of extra time. So we're feeling a little bit of pressure. And then we remembered rule number 2 of the Zen of truck mechanics. The real truck that you're working on is a truck called yourself. It's such a drag when your car doesn't work. It's such a feeling of helplessness and vulnerability. Coupled with an impossible schedule, it can be kind of challenging to enjoy the life. But instead of focusing on all the potential negatives, we decided just to laugh at these crazy circumstances and just keep focused on getting that part. They said there was no way they stocked that part, and they didn't know any other parts stores that may have it. Thank God the taxi driver was super helpful. He said that there was a junkyard on the outskirts of town that may have what we need, and he would take us there. For some reason, I could really relate to these kids. We were trying to get our truck going too. It's funny how life imitates life. We made it to the junkyard, and the search was on.
Tú me mandas mensaje o te hablo a las 2.
Meanwhile, Margarita was in touch with the mechanics who were looking for another part that we needed, and they were having difficulty finding it.
So they're taking time until 2 or 3, to see if they have it or not. So if they don't have it, then we get it, and then we bring it here if they have it.
What if they don't have it?
The search for the distributor wasn't going well either, and after a lot of effort, they came up empty-handed. They said they didn't find it at this junkyard, but they said they had another junkyard, so we have one last chance to find the part. As the guy arrived, the suspense was just too much. We couldn't stand it. But when we looked at the parts, they seemed to match. This was it. We found the part. So we made our way back to the truck, and the mechanic had all the parts he needed. And in no time at all, he had it all put together, and we were ready to go. These guys just travel around doing artwork on any bare wall they see. Very cool.
Finally, we're on our way.
As we inched our way to the Guatemalan border, I realized the car was starting to overheat. And by the time we got to the immigration office, it was barely running. While Margie was getting our new 6-month travel permit, I was trying to figure out what was wrong with the truck. As it continued to overheat, we were starting to overheat. We were tired of it breaking down all the time, and we had a brief, heated discussion. But we decided to move on and find a radiator shop as quick as possible.
We encountered another problem. It seems to be the fan clutch is also bad. So it was kind of overheating, not running. We got our permit at the border, but now these fine gentlemen are helping us fix it right now. So I don't know, is this mechanic number 6 or 7 or 8? I lost track now.
After mechanic number 6 put in a new fan clutch, he recommended that we buy another thermostat. So we stopped at this mechanic, and we had a new thermostat put in.
We got the spare tire.
We also took the opportunity to get a new spare tire, since someone had stolen ours. As we made our way north, we spent the night in San Cristobal. And then it was off to Tuxtla, where we decided to stop by at the 7 garage and have them check the timing. And that's when Maestro informed us that when the distributor broke, the timing chain skipped a couple teeth, so he had to reset everything. Very precision. I'm gonna miss those guys from the 7 garage. They were my favorite mechanics. The truck was running beautifully. It was like a dream come true. Everything was going smoothly, and we were right on schedule. What could go wrong? It's really not a good idea to drive at night in Mexico. So as the sun went down, we decided to spend the night in Coatzacoalcos with our friends at the Best Western Motel. And the next morning, we got an early start. It feels so good to be back in Veracruz. More fresh pineapple. Sweet and delicious.
Funky's finally working like a dream. She's running so well. All these mechanics have gotten her tuned up. I'm so sorry the vacation is over because I'm really enjoying driving Funky and having a great time.
As we made our way to Jalapa, we decided to stop at El Carrizal one more time for one last dip in those magic mineral waters. As we were leaving the mineral hot springs, all of a sudden the truck sounded like it was running on one cylinder, and it felt like it was going to completely collapse. Luckily, it broke down right in front of a repair shop, and they told us most likely it's the head gasket, and they weren't able to fix it at their shop.
The Funky adventure is officially over. Funky has blown a head gasket. She's done. She's thrown in the towel. And now, I don't know, we're gonna have to tow it back or something.
We couldn't believe it. We're only 7 hours away from Guanajuato. And now it's Sunday night, we're in a very small town in the middle of nowhere, and we've just about run out of options.
It's not what we wanted to happen, so Margarita's a little bummed out.
Is that it? Is the funky adventure really over? I just wanted to leave the truck there and get on a bus. But Margarita said, no way, we've come this far on the journey, and we're gonna finish what we started. So we decided to call our friend Rodrigo, 30 miles away in Jalapa, and see if he can lend us a hand.
You're rescued.
I was so glad to see Rodrigo, and he brought along his secret weapon, the great Jorge, who would prove to be our saving grace.
Richard.
Angels come in all different shapes and sizes.
In fact, not doing anything, but I'm here.
Rodrigo let us tow the truck to his house while we figure out what we're going to do. It's going to take 2 or 3 days to repair the truck, and we just don't have time for that. Somehow we got to get the truck to Guanajuato, Mexico, and then catch a plane 7 hours away in Durango. The tow company said they could do it for $1,500, but we didn't have that kind of money. So we have to come up with some kind of alternate plan. And Jorge was just the man to make it happen. It took a few days, but they came up with this crazy plan to tow it all the way there on this dolly. We were a little skeptical, but we had no choice if we wanted to complete this mission. And Jorge seemed very confident that Mexican know-how was a very superior technology. He works for the state of Veracruz in the transportation department, so he's the perfect man for the job. And there was no stopping him. He was able to borrow the dolly from work, and his friend said he could use his truck. And he brought in another friend who was a mechanic, and he helped us remove the drive shaft and hook up some lights in the back. I still wasn't too sure of that dolly. The tires looked kind of bald, and the straps kept coming loose. Another problem with the dolly is it doesn't have a license plate, and that's necessary in Mexico. So now the federales have a reason to give us a hard time. They could take our car and give us a ticket. But Jorge had a solution for this also. We spent the previous day with his friend at the Federale office, who gave us this top secret code that whenever we got pulled over, all we had to do was give this code and we were off the hook. The straps kept coming loose, but we finally figured out the best way to secure them. Thanks to Jorge. We still haven't even gotten on the freeway yet, and one of the tires on the dolly has already went flat, so we had to have it repaired by this guy. Driving at normal speeds, it takes about 7 hours to get to Guanajuato, but since we were towing the truck, we had to go very slow. So the drive ends up being about 13 hours. It was the longest 13 hours of my life. The federales like to hang around the toll booths, but with our secret code, we didn't have any problem with them at first. Finally on our way, and there's no stopping us now. As we drove through the night, we were stopped several times by the federales, but since we had the secret code, they didn't give us any trouble. The federales continued to harass us throughout the trip, And the farther we got away from Veracruz, the less the secret code worked. But we got very lucky. We only had to pay like $100 in fines. Before I knew it, we were there. We made it. All thanks to the great Jorge. Now the truck is in the capable hands of Margarita's brother, Roberto, who's a mechanic and a car expert. He's going to bring Funky back to life. Roberto gave us a ride up to Durango, and after dinner with the family, it was back to Los Angeles, and mission accomplished. All of this wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the help of the many people along the way. Our special thanks.